Do your consumer marketing efforts feel complicated? Experian Automotive delivers data-driven marketing solutions to find new customers and keep loyal ones. Drive measurable results with trusted data and expert support. Learn more at Experian.com/automotive.
Welcome to Daily Drive for Wednesday, June 18th, 2025. I'm Jamie Butters, Executive Editor of Automotive News here in Detroit.
And I'm Kellen Walker in Las Vegas. Today on the show, the UAW's Federal Monitor paints a damning picture of President Shawn Fain's leadership. The U.S. Senate looks to phase out EV tax credits over 6 months, and another automaker hikes prices amid tariffs. Plus, KPMG's Lenny LaRocca joins the show to talk about the evolving mergers and acquisitions market and how his clients are trying to beef up their bottom lines in 2025.
You're going to start seeing people pull those levers, and you'll start seeing the increase in profit and cash flow from those activities.
Let's run through all the news you need to know to keep up in the auto industry.
UAW President Shawn Fain unjustly stripped Secretary-Treasurer Margaret Mock of some key duties in 2024 based on unsupported or outright unfounded allegations. That's what the union's federal watchdog concluded in a blistering new report. Mock holds the union's second highest leadership position. In February 2024, Fain reassigned oversight of 11 departments and 2 external board positions from Mock following a vote by the union's International Executive Board. He accused Mock of misusing her authority and obstructing union business by refusing to approve reimbursing his staff for certain expenses. Mock said the move was retaliation. Court-appointed monitor Neil Borofsky has been investigating Fain's actions for the past year. He concluded that Mock was falsely accused of misconduct and subjected to retaliatory action by Fain. He urged the union's executive board to immediately reverse the decision. You can read more about the report at autonews.com.
The Senate Finance Committee has proposed eliminating the $7,500 electric vehicle tax credit and removing a carve-out for some automakers. The Senate text would also change the effective date to 180 days after the bill's passage. The text suggests that the chamber is taking an even harder line than the House bill in eliminating Biden-era incentives for EVs. The House proposed ending the consumer EV tax credit at the end of 2025 for most big automakers. But that version would have extended the tax credit to the end of 2026 for automakers that had not manufactured 200,000 EVs or plug-in hybrids for sale in the U.S. The Senate text would ostensibly move up the timeline and does not provide the carve-out.
Mitsubishi Motors says it is hiking prices of U.S. vehicles by more than 2% on average. It's the latest automaker to pass along a portion of tariff-related cost increases to consumers. In early April, President Trump's tariffs prompted Mitsubishi to suspend deliveries from ports to U.S. dealers. The company says it resumed those deliveries last week. The 2.1% average price hike is effective today.
And Nissan's U.S. sales chief, Judy Wheeler, is retiring after nearly 15 years with the Japanese automaker. The 63-year-old Wheeler is a 2-time honoree on Automotive News' list of 100 leading women in the North American auto industry. The leadership change comes as Nissan struggles to find market traction in the U.S. and globally. The automaker reported its worst annual loss in a quarter century. Former U.S. sales executive Arcangelo Lafaro will replace Wheeler on July 1st. And those are today's headlines. So, Jamie, the UAW's Federal Monitor paints a bad picture of President Shawn Fain's leadership. How is this affecting the UAW and the rest of its leadership?
Big division at the top. The board doubled down on blaming Mock. They stand in opposition, most of them. Mock, of course, didn't sign off on that vote. A couple other vice presidents did not go along. It's not a good look for Fain. It was presumably going to be running for president for another term. Borofsky gave a lot of details, and one set was about an incident in 2023. Fain allegedly remarked in front of hundreds of people that he would slit or cut the throats of anyone who messed with certain members of his inner circle. It's a pretty bad image for him, coming from a guy who's, known to be very cautious and careful in his public statements.
Gotcha. Coming up, KPMG's Lenny LaRocca talks about the mergers and acquisitions landscape and how clients are trying to become more profitable. That's next on Daily Drive.
Are you an automotive marketer navigating today's rapidly evolving landscape? Finding new customers and nurturing existing relationships can feel like a complex journey. But what if you had a powerful engine fueled by trusted data to guide your way? That's where Experian Automotive comes in. We understand the challenges you face. Today's personalized consumer journeys demand intelligent planning and precise execution. That's why we offer the Experian Marketing Engine, a coordinated suite of data-driven solutions designed to help you develop, execute, and most importantly, measure effective marketing campaigns. At the heart of our solutions is Experian's trusted data and a dedicated automotive team committed to your success. We empower you to drive measurable results with unique data insights, including identity solutions to help you better connect with your ideal customers with greater accuracy by cleaning and enriching your first-party data. Consumer and market insights helps you gain a deeper understanding of market trends and consumer behavior, enabling you to better target consumers. Targeted audiences to help you pinpoint and target the right prospects at the right time with the right message. Better data truly connects you to better results. Stop guessing and start driving measurable impact with Experian Automotive. Ready to transform your automotive marketing? Visit Experian.com/automotive to learn how our data-driven solutions can help you find new customers, keep loyal ones, and navigate the road ahead with confidence. That's Experian.com/automotive. Take control of your marketing journey today.
Welcome back to Daily Drive. I'm Jamie Butters with Kellen Walker. The auto industry has always been cyclical, but 2025 is proving to be especially turbulent. Ever-changing trade policies, supply chain disruptions, and major strategic shifts are all making long-term planning and investment decisions difficult. Lenny LaRocca is a partner at KPMG and head of the firm's automotive practice. We spoke here at our offices in Detroit. Lenny LaRocca, welcome back to Daily Drive.
Great. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Good to have you back. We spoke last when we were in CES at the beginning of the year. So how's 2025 been going for you?
Well, it's been a bit volatile. Absolutely. A little bit of chaos at times, but it's been a very busy 5-6 months here.
What kinds of stuff have you been working on?
Well, as you know, Jamie, I spent a lot of my time working in mergers, acquisitions, joint ventures, and strategic, portfolio shifts. And, we're seeing a lot of activity in that space right now. There's a lot of activity in the supply chain, particularly for, large tier ones that have invested heavily in EVs and not seeing the return on those investments as quickly as they were hoping. And so now they're looking at opportunities to generate cash, conserve cash, and either sell off assets, or for those who have strong balance sheets, look at buying businesses.
We've seen a lot of strategic realignment, like you said, in the large tier ones. I guess I keep wondering, as the tariffs work through the economy and the automotive system, are we going to have to see a vertical integration of, maybe some of those suppliers with healthy balance sheets taking over, or, otherwise funding their lower tier suppliers that
That's
might
right.
be more vulnerable?
That's right. Yeah. I mean, vertical integration has been proven to help have savings and generate higher profit if it's in the right areas. And so you're seeing, auto suppliers, like I said, that have strong balance sheets, look at those opportunities. If there's opportunities to, get some more vertical integration, drive more profit, that's one lever or one play that people can make. The other one is looking at, is there adjacent products or portfolios or footprint that maybe you've had a competitor in Europe for the last 20 years that's not doing that great, and an opportunity to consolidate and make the two companies better. So you're seeing that as a significant trend.
Are you seeing deals that seem influenced by the return or the rise of tariffs, or is it just too soon, too volatile for people to make a big capital move around those policies?
That's right. I think it's a little bit, still in that sort of short term strategic moves that companies are making, the OEMs looking at their suppliers to, make easy moves, right? Take advantage of excess capacity. I mean, you're seeing that a lot more over the last, 60 days. You see folks looking at how do we get USMCA qualified, and do we get our components to, our suppliers to get more qualified, makes my engine more qualified, makes my car more, so there's sort of that trend that people are really looking at right now in more short term. The longer term play is still, I think, TBD what people actually do as far as putting real dollars at work.
But there does seem to be the trend of regionalization.
That's right.
Is the trade challenges, not great trade relations between the U.S. and China has kind of bifurcated the world almost. And certainly North America seems more walled off. We'll have to see how USMCA gets renegotiated. But China seems very separate now from the rest of the world in a lot of ways. And Europe's kind of its own market. It seems
That's right.
less globalized than it was a few years ago.
Yeah, the regionalization is definitely picking up. Some of it's driven by, like you mentioned, tariffs and other factors or structural changes in the industry. But I think it's also consumer demand. I was actually at the Shanghai Auto Show, 6-8 weeks ago. And, the exports is a big piece of the equation for Chinese OEMs,
Yeah.
right? They have significant capacity in China. I think it's something like 50 million vehicles, and they make about 30 million. So there's a lot of capacity there. So the Chinese OEMs are really focused on export, and I think look favorably on markets like Europe as an example, right? Because they could sell the same car that they make in China and Europe for almost twice as much as as they're selling it in China, right? So there's actually some benefit. So I still think you're going to see that regional push from the Chinese, or the global push for the Chinese OEMs on the export side. But for a lot of the OEMs, I think it's really focusing on home markets and looking to gain market share.
Mm-hmm. It's become such a brutal market in China, as you would expect, with an industry with 70% excess capacity. But you have clients all over the world. What are you hearing from them? What are they asking you about these days?
Yeah, I mean, the big thing that we're hearing from our clients is, how can we help generate more profit? Because overall volumes is not really growing. I mean, global volumes aren't really growing in 2025, not expected to grow in 2026. There's a bit of a regional shift with China kind of still growing, but Europe and rest of the world sort of decreasing, America kind of staying the same. So you have the situation where volumes aren't really growing. So it's really focused on how do you grow the bottom line, and looking at ways to reduce cost, increase cash flow. And we're seeing a big lever, people looking at how do we use, AI and machine learning and data analytics to really reduce cost. And that's an area that we've been spending a lot of time helping our clients with.
Yeah, automation is such a interesting trend, and it sort of presents, again, a policy paradox, right? Is this a lot of the policies are geared around trying to get more investment, re-domestication of manufacturing, but more and more of manufacturing is done by robots using AI. Obviously, not fully replacing the worker, but they're going to replace some workers or some work,
Yeah. I mean, I grew up in a UAW neighborhood. I mean, my father-in-law welded for 30 years, and he was sharing stories with me about some of the quality issues and different things.
Yeah.
And, now all that's done by machines, right? You don't
Yeah.
have a guy, welding all the pieces together. And I think you're going to continue to see advancements, even things like quality inspection, right? I mean, back in the day, you'd have the guy at the end of the line, do his 100 little tests and things to make sure that everything was working. Now you have a lot of that all automated, right? Even things like looking at the paint and the finish on the vehicles, right? So I think that trend will continue. The other thing specifically is that the auto industry actually generates a lot of data from the customers, data within the organization, data from the suppliers. And what we're seeing is a lot of people trying to figure out ways to harness that data and make better decisions faster. Things like, warranty as an example. How do we get that information quicker to our design and development process so that we can change the part faster to reduce overall warranty claims? Things like labor. How do we use AI and machine learning to better assess capabilities of the workforce, to align them to jobs that they're passionate about, right? I mean, simple things like that. I think you're going to start seeing people pull those levers, and you'll start seeing the increase in profit and cash flow from those activities.
Whatever the business environment, containing cost and getting more efficient is always a good play.
It's interesting. I think that's the first thing the auto industry turns to. Absolutely.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thank you for updating us on that. It's been a wild ride so far, and we appreciate you coming by and keeping us in touch.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Thanks, Lenny. Lenny LaRocca is a partner at KPMG, and he leads their automotive practice. That's Daily Drive for today. I'm Jamie Butters.
And I'm Kellen Walker. Thanks to Automotive News executive producer Jake Neer, as well as our own Michael Martinez, Molly Boygon, and Urvash Kakaria for their reporting for today's podcast. You can get the latest news on mergers and acquisitions, UAW leadership, and everything happening in the auto industry at autonews.com.
Come back tomorrow for a conversation with our own Lawrence Iliff about why EV registrations are slipping for the first time in 2 years and the impact of Tesla's troubles. We'd love to hear from you. Let us know what you think of the show and the topics we covered today. Send us an email at dailydrive@autonews.com or leave us a voicemail at 313-444-2774. If you enjoyed the podcast, remember to like, leave a review, and subscribe so you never miss an episode.